I'm doing a lot of these podcast episodes, and people often ask me like, how am I monetizing it? How am I making money from it? And what's the business plan? To be honest, I'm like, right now I'm just reaching out to people. I'm growing my network. I'm getting the attention. I'm not charging people to be on the podcast. People aren't paying me to be on the podcast. Like, none of that. It's all just a plan to get somewhere bigger. And so this guy just went the wrong way. But I think sometimes people have to realize that it's not all about the money today. Sometimes you gotta do things that sometimes you gotta sacrifice $10 today to make $1,000 tomorrow, if that makes sense. And so the podcast and a lot of the content I'm doing is to add value and to raise awareness to what I'm doing and to get that attention. That way, it's like when I do have a plan for monetization and making money, people know who I am, they know that I'm adding value to them, and it just makes sense. And so I think growing your network is undervalued right now. And it's like people need to realize that you got to go out there and you got to make friends. You got to go out there and make connections. And a lot of people ask, like, how do I grow my social media? How do I get a larger following? And I think some of that stuff is, yeah, there's tactics on Instagram, like using hashtags and following certain people on Twitter and doing this and that on Facebook, but sometimes you got to actually do stuff in real life. So start going to events, and when you go to events, get those people's Instagram. And when you get their Instagram, don't just think you're too cool and you just follow them, but actually engage with them. So comment on their pictures, like their pictures, DM them, say, hey, thanks, it was so nice to meet you. Follow them on Twitter, retweet their stuff, like their stuff. Like, just be a friend, like the same stuff you would do in real life. So you invite your friends over, take them to the movies, play sports with them, buy them gifts, do the same thing, but on social media. And as you start to do that, you'll see there's more people that are going to be loyal to your content and engaging with you. And so, yeah, social media is the way, but you also got to be somebody in real life. You got to be willing to be somebody, in life, man. And just be a good friend out here. And actually, don't be scared to build those connects in real life. So like I said, go to events, go to parties, go to dinners, meet people, do free stuff, do podcasts, do vlogs, and don't always worry about charging people right away. That's gonna come. Focus on building your network. Once you have that network, you're gonna be unstoppable, because a lot of people might have a following on social media, but it's like they're not really helping people and adding value. So once you're adding value, helping people, and then people see that you have something that you're asking in return, finally something that you're monetizing, you're gonna see that more people are gonna be willing to help you. So that's my advice, man. Start building a network in real life, and don't always worry about the monetization. Know that it's coming, but don't focus 100% on that today, because the ROI isn't always available right now. Sometimes you're doing things that will pay off in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and so you don't want to give up on some of those things. It's just like working at a place. You're gonna start on the low level, but 5-10 years from there, you could be working at the top. You could be the CEO, you could be making $1 million, $100,000, whatever. But it takes that initial, putting that interview in there, putting that application in there. And so sometimes things take a little bit of time, and you don't always say, hey, I need $100,000 right up front. They look at you crazy. It's like, oh, you need to, build up your reputation and everything like that. So that's one thing I would say, man. Just have a little bit of patience, start building in real life, and building your network. Just focus on a couple of those things.